I should have known the night was over the second she rolled her eyes at me. "You're ruining the vibe," she said, her voice sharp, clipped, like she'd been rehearsing it for weeks. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. Something inside me, something I tried to ignore for months, snapped. I stood up, grabbed my coat and left, the weight of her words pressing on my chest as if they were physical blows. The streets were empty, the city quiet in a way that made the betrayal feel louder. Every step I took away from the apartment, I replayed her words, her smirk, the way her eyes didn't meet mine. The vibe she'd been talking about wasn't the music, the lights, or even the party, it was him. I didn't have proof yet. I didn't want proof yet. But the seed of suspicion had been planted months ago, tiny and insidious, growing slowly in corners of my mind I'd refused to notice. By the time I got home, my phone was a monument to obsession. 47 missed calls, all from her. I stared at the screen, heart hammering, thumb hovering over the first one. Part of me wanted to answer, to hear her voice, to demand explanations, but another part, the part one trusted more now than I had in months, whispered, "Don't." I poured a glass of whiskey and sat on the edge of the bed, letting the silence swallow me. Each ring, each voicemail, each frantic text flashing across the screen was a nail in the coffin of the life I thought I had. I listened to the first voicemail. Her voice was soft, almost pleading. "Come back. I didn't mean it. Please." And beneath the surface I heard laughter. A pause. A breath. That subtle, familiar sound I'd come to dread. He was there. I had seen it before in small things. The way she would smile at her phone when she thought I wasn't looking, the secretive glances, the sudden late nights at work, meetings that weren't on her calendar. I chalked it up to paranoia, insecurity, the part of me that never felt enough. But the evidence had been there, messy and raw, like a warning sign I'd refused to read. I called my closest friend, someone I trusted like a brother. "I think she's seeing someone," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm not sure how long." There was a pause. Then, "Do you have proof?" I didn't. Not yet. But proof would come. I always found it in the end. The next day, I left the apartment early. I told her I had errands, but really I was following her, tracking her movements, watching, listening. I didn't want a scene, I wanted clarity. And I got it. Lunch at a quiet cafe. One I would never have imagined she'd choose alone. Except she wasn't alone. There he was, leaning across the table, laughing in a way that made my stomach twist. She looked happy, alive in a way she hadn't been with me for months. The betrayal hit like a punch to the gut, leaving me gasping, blinded, but too frozen to confront her. I went home, sat in the dark, and let myself imagine every possible scenario. The texts she'd sent, the calls she'd answered, the times she'd worked late. All pieces of a puzzle that painted a picture I wasn't ready to look at fully. But the anger started to build, sharp and focused. Not the blind, rage-filled anger of a movie, but a slow, simmering fire that demanded resolution. I decided on a different kind of confrontation. Not yelling, not pleading, not tears. I wanted her to feel the weight of what she'd done without me having to say a word. So I gathered everything. Her favorite clothes, the gifts I'd given her, the letters I'd written when I thought we were happy. I packed them neatly like a shrine to what had once been love. And then I left a note. Simple, stark, cutting through every lie she'd hidden behind. "I see you. I know the truth. Don't bother calling. I'm done." By the time she came home, the apartment was silent, echoing. A space that had once been ours, now only mine. I watched from across the street, unseen, as she picked up the phone and saw the note. Her expression shifted from confusion to shock, to anger, and finally to panic. I imagined the text she sent him in real time, the frantic explanations, the excuses, the denial. I smiled bitterly, feeling a small sense of justice in letting her panic without interference. I didn't go back inside. I didn't want her apologies, her tears, her explanations. I had learned something vital. Betrayal is loud in its quiet ways, in the little things that scream if you listen. And revenge, the purest kind, isn't in ruining someone else. It's in reclaiming yourself. Days later, I changed my number, moved to a new place, and slowly began picking up the pieces of the man I had let slip away while trying to hold on to someone who didn't deserve me. The anger faded, replaced by a hollow kind of peace, the kind that comes when you finally stop expecting someone to be what they were never meant to be. I don't miss her. Not really. But sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone in my new apartment, I think of those 47 missed calls, the sound of her voice on that first voicemail, the laughter that betrayed me before I even needed proof. I think about how small betrayals grow into walls, how silence can be louder than lies, and how walking away was the first act of love I ever gave myself in that relationship. And I realize, leaving wasn't just about her. It was about me, about understanding that the heart can heal, even when it breaks, and that justice doesn't always look like revenge. It sometimes looks like freedom. By morning there were 47 missed calls. By evening there was nothing but quiet. And that, I decided, was more than enough.